Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome. Today's video is going to be about the weird things no one tells you about pregnancy, because there's a lot of them. I have a list on my phone. The first one is your sense of smell. My sense of smell got so good during my first trimester. It was insane. Apparently it's to like heighten your senses to protect the baby, I think, but I could just smell absolutely everything. It was insane. I just felt like I had a superpower, and that was smelling things, if that's a superpower. Extreme exhaustion in the first trimester. I have never been so tired in my life. I would go and nap for hours. I would sleep in and then I would just nap for hours and I would still be absolutely exhausted. I would go to class and come home and just be done for the day. It was like I did a 16-hour work day. It was insane. I didn't realize how fast and early your boobs grow. It's pretty common knowledge that your boobs grow during pregnancy and breastfeeding, but I didn't know it happened so soon. I got pregnant in October. Halfway through November, my boobs had gone up 2 cup sizes. It was ridiculous how fast they grew. TMI, if you don't want to know, maybe fast forward, but my nipples, they got so dark and so much bigger to help the baby to see. I didn't expect that. They were crazy. And another one for me, I don't know how many people this happened to, but my skin got really dry. I have eczema, so it made my eczema so bad, and it's still bad now. I'm 4.5 months postpartum. My eczema's just been absolutely atrocious since then, and I got pregnant in the fall last year, so right around winter time when the air was getting really dry, so I think that made it even worse. It was just not fun. Another one that I know is pretty obvious. I never really believed it was like your hormones just make you so crazy. I'm not really a crier. I don't cry at a lot of things. When I was pregnant, I would just cry at the most ridiculous stuff ever. For instance, I remember I was just like in the kitchen eating something and I like kind of choked on it for a second. Oh man, I should probably look up what the pregnancy Heimlich maneuver is. I looked it up and it said for obese people and pregnant women, and I just started bawling my eyes out. Oh my gosh, I'm obese. And Ryan was like, no, you're not. And losing it, and my friend's boyfriend, so uncomfortable watching me just like absolutely lose it in our kitchen. I bawled. I don't do that. You never really notice that it takes a really long time to actually look pregnant. For me, I feel like I didn't look pregnant until I was 5 months pregnant. I just kind of looked like I was bloated, or like I had a little pouch going on. I honestly just looked like I had like a super big lunch. Like I ate like 5 burritos for lunch, which I mean, like, I did some days. Didn't really realize how long it would take to actually look like noticeably obviously pregnant. And another thing I noticed, I feel like this happens with a lot of people, is that your belly isn't like this perfect round shape at the beginning. It's like a bit more lopsided on the bottom. It kind of sticks out more and more like a pear shape almost from the side. I didn't really like it. I feel like it just didn't look cute. You know, each to their own. Was so not looking forward to as soon as I found out I was pregnant was the unsolicited advice. Absolute just like birth horror stories. I don't know why, but as soon as you tell someone you're pregnant, they just tell you about all the worst things that happened to them when they were pregnant. The horror stories of them giving birth, just how awful everything went. It was not fun. It was the most terrifying thing to hear. No one ever says, oh my gosh, I loved it. They're always like, you gonna die. So around 9 weeks, I went for my first ultrasound. I didn't know this, but you have to have a really full bladder because your bladder needs to put pressure on your uterus so they can see it better. And it sucks because at the beginning of pregnancy, you actually still have to pee really frequently, and it's because of your hormones. You still feel like you really need to pee all the time. To have a full bladder and sit there while you wait for your ultrasound, the worst thing ever. Oh my gosh, I died. And for my 20-week ultrasound, I was like decently pregnant then. I had like a pretty big belly pushing on my bladder. I've never had to pee so bad in my life. It hurt so much. I remember thinking I was like not gonna make it to this ultrasound. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna die before I make it to. I had like a 10-minute wait. I just remember I was sitting in the waiting room with a bunch of other pregnant women, and I was only like 20 weeks at the time, like halfway through. And there was all these women that were obviously way more pregnant than me, and they were just sitting there chilling. Okay, I know you have to have a full bladder. why aren't you dying? Am I the only one that's dying? Like, I just had to sit there with my hands between my legs, focusing on the clock when they're actually doing the ultrasound and pushing on your belly. I had to pee so bad. I don't know how I didn't pee my pants. I genuinely thought I was going to. When the nurse told me I could go pee, it was the best news ever until she said, only empty half your bladder. What, girl? Why are you doing this to me? It wasn't fun, but I got to see your toesies, so it made up for it. I feel like this is a pretty common thing. Maybe common? I don't know. I just know a lot about pregnancy. I was obsessed with it. Your hair, it goes like all out of whack. For like a lot of people, their hair will get thicker. I was all excited. Oh, I have such thin hair. It's gonna get thick. I'm gonna have this big, thick, luscious head of hair. It's gonna be amazing. I grew hair. Not on my head though. Just explicitly on my belly. I don't know why. I hated it. It was way hairier than it usually was. In addition to that, my belly, it was just like in my face all the time. I hated it. Your immune system gets really low. I'm a person that usually doesn't get sick all that often. I'll go a full flu or cold season without really getting sick at all. If I do, it's really mild. It'll last like a day. I just have like a baller immune system. When I was pregnant, that was not the case. I remember getting a cold and it was the worst thing ever. For me, I'm used to a one-day cold. And instead, I had a week-long, 2-week-long cold, and it was just way worse. Not fun, but which goes. You just have the weirdest dreams ever. I cannot remember a single weird dream I have. I do remember I would just wake up. What just happened? I was really out of it. I felt honestly like I was high. Around like 18 to 23 weeks is when you can start feeling baby kicks, which I thought was super early at that point. Baby's like pretty tiny. I don't know, baby's like the size of like a mango or something like that. I remember around 18 weeks, well, I thought what I was having was, you know, when you have bubbles in your tummy, kind of like gas, I felt like I just had like bubbles kind of rumbling in my tummy a bit. That's what I thought it was. Later on, I realized that it was baby kicks. At the beginning stage, it's really hard to tell the difference between like tummy bubbles and baby kicks. Once you can start to feel baby kicking, I think it's later on in the 3rd trimester. I don't know. I'm not a doctor or midwife. Once you get further along, you have to start doing kick count, whatever many kicks in an hour. If not, you should call your doctor kind of thing. It can be a little stressful if you don't feel a kick for like 15 minutes. 23 weeks, I think I was. 22 weeks, 23 weeks. I woke up, my PJs had all these weird little dots on them. Oh, that's like weird, and it was like on my chest area. Oh, that's really weird. I must have just spilled a bunch of food on myself or drink or something when I was eating last night before bed. One day I was just sitting at the kitchen table with my roommate. I was like kind of slouching at a chair, and I just felt like a bunch of droplets both sides on my stomach dripping down, and I saw my boobs were leaking. Yeah, I didn't know that was gonna be a thing. My boobs were leaking colostrum. It usually happens more in the 3rd trimester, and sometimes it doesn't even happen. That wasn't fun, having randomly leaking boobs really early, but you know, which goes. Okay, this one's TMI. If you don't want to hear it, whatever. I don't know, I just want to be as open as I can for anyone who's pregnant right now, so you don't feel alone with all these weird symptoms and you kind of like have an expectation of what's coming. My poops got super weird. I barely pooped. I was so constipated no matter what I did. I had to take magnesium. I did not really poop at all. Yeah, barely was a thing for me. I went to the bathroom a lot. I was peeing very, very frequently. That was it. This is for anybody, I guess if this is a more of a BC thing. I didn't know when you go for your 20-week ultrasound, so that's like your anatomy scan, that's when you can find out like the gender. I didn't realize that was gonna be my last ultrasound. If you have a totally healthy pregnancy, that's the last ultrasound. I didn't get another one. I don't know, I feel like I didn't appreciate it enough because I didn't realize it was gonna be my last one. Remember that if you're in BC. This one is a little sad, but I want to talk about it because it's really not that well known. Postpartum depression is obviously a very common known thing. I ended up having prenatal depression. That's depression while you're pregnant. I don't know, I feel like a lot of women actually experience it. Not as common knowledge as postpartum depression. I just kind of felt really guilty for being pregnant, having this baby coming, and I was feeling so down randomly all the time, and I was so anxious about birth, becoming a mom, and then that made me feel even worse because I was feeling guilty that I was feeling sad because I was like, oh my gosh, it's supposed to be such a happy time and I'm feeling so down about it. That's not normal, but it is normal. If you're feeling pretty down and you're pregnant right now, it can and will get better. Talk to your doctors. Trust me, you'll get through this. You can get through it. A bit of a happier note. I don't know if this is happy, but your belly skin burns so much. It's just been so stretched. Mine was like so dry. It just burnt all the time, and like makes sense. It's stretched out so much. Your belly button pops no matter what. I was convinced, no, my belly button is not gonna pop because I'm special. Why did I think that? I don't know. Some days it would be popped out and other days it would like be back to normal. So I was like, it's just a weird day. It'll go back. But by the end, it was just out. That's just what it was. I was so scared it was gonna stay like that forever. It went back, don't worry. But as soon as it was an outie and then you have this big belly pushing it out even more, it was so sensitive. Having just a t-shirt rub up against it, or if I accidentally poked it, it was so sensitive. It felt really weird. I didn't realize having a summer baby was not a good combination. You get so hot. I would just be absolutely boiling, and Brandon would be totally fine. He'd just be chilling. I'd be like absolutely dying and overheating. Like I just ran a marathon. I ended up having to take medications to make my heartburn less bad. I'm unconvinced they did anything. I don't think they worked at all, and I just paid a lot of money for these heartburn meds. My pelvis and hips were just so sore. I felt like I was like an 80-year-old woman all of a sudden out of nowhere. It just was like this constant pain. Not fun. Obviously, at the end of your pregnancy, you have this big belly. Everybody just kind of has this instinct to just stare like at pregnant women in public all the time, and you just become a zoo animal. Like that's the only way I could describe it. Every time I went out in public, someone would look at me and watch me and stare at me and look at my belly, judge everything I did. If I was at the grocery store and I was picking up, I don't know, oranges, they'd be like, is that the right choice? And let's be real, I was picking up a bag of chips because I was like, who cares if I eat chips? People would just be judging me and be like, is that healthy for your baby? I don't think so. Probably put it back. They were giving me like that eye. It sucked. And then every time you visit people, everybody is focused on you. They're like, how's the baby? How are you? I hated the attention so much. People's natural instinct, I don't know why, they go and reach to touch it. I don't like being touched by like random people I don't know. I do not like that. When you're really, really pregnant, you've been pregnant for like 8-9 months, I could not remember what it was like to not have a belly. I just remember looking at my sister-in-law or like my friends, and they would just be like normal, like skinny, empty uterus gals, and would just look at them and be like, I could not remember what it was like to be that size, not have a giant belly. I'm never gonna feel that again. I was like, it's so far gone. Couldn't tell you what it's like. But at the same time, I always forgot I had a belly. Like walk into things with my belly all the time. It hurts so bad. I'd even be in doorways and I would like turn and I would just like hit my belly on it. I don't know. It was really weird. It felt like a whale, but then sometimes I forget I was a whale and I would just walk into things. I didn't really realize until I looked into it. An average baby weighs about like 7 pounds when they're born. So you think, oh, you gain like 7-10 pounds. No. I did not realize the average weight gain is like 25 to 35 pounds. I remember hearing that and being like shocked. That's insane. The baby's gonna be like 6 pounds. What else is there? It makes sense. Totally fine. It doesn't matter. You're like gaining weight to like make a human. It's not a bad thing, but I didn't realize it was so much. If you drop something when you're really, really pregnant, you really have to contemplate how important that thing was to you. No more. Don't care what it is. Overall, as you get more and more pregnant, you just get so uncomfortable. Any type of position you're in hurts so bad. I had really bad back pain and pelvic pain and every type of pain, and my rib cage hurt. There were certain positions that I just didn't realize would be so uncomfortable. Just sitting on the couch. If you just like slightly slouch like that, Avery's little bum would be like squished up into my rib cage. When I drove, her butt would be like squished into my rib cage. After a while, like I just really did not want to drive anymore because it was so uncomfortable. Well, standing didn't really hurt that bad, but then the weight of my belly would get heavy after a while. I'd also get exhausted from standing up for too long, but that was like the most comfortable like belly wise. My savior, my mother-in-law got me one of those like big exercise balls, and I was like, oh, those are so stupid. I don't need that. I'm a minimalist. I don't want it. It saved me. I just sat there bouncing and rolling. It felt so good to be like in constant motion with my pelvis so it didn't get stuck in one position and really hurt. At the same time, I could sit down. Oh, it was the best thing ever. So those are all the weird things that I didn't know about pregnancy that happened to me. I hope this was interesting because I know when I was pregnant, I went like on a craze and watched so many YouTube videos of like all the weird things you don't know about pregnancy, what to expect. I went crazy. If you're watching this and you're pregnant, hopefully I helped you. In the end, totally worth it for your little baby. Oh, she's so cute. I love her. I hopefully taught you one thing that you didn't know about pregnancy. If you're not pregnant but are just really curious about it, hopefully it was entertaining for you. If you enjoyed my video, please give it a thumbs up. That'll really help support me. If you want to see more videos, make sure to subscribe because I will be uploading videos every Friday at noon. Okay, bye guys.